Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk and thank you very much for joining me. Now today I am posting this on the 7th of October 2017, which happens to be World Card Making Day. That is right, it is a day when we celebrate the hobby of making handmade cards. And in celebration, this is what I've made. It's got a little bit of a global theme, I think, with all the postage stamps. But stay with me and I'll show you what I did. So here are the things that I'm using today. My card base is cherry cobbler. I've taken my piece of A4 and I've trimmed it so that it is 11.5 inches by 4 inches, and I've scored and folded it at 5 3/4, which is halfway. And I've got a piece of dapper denim which is just about the same size as the front of the card, but maybe a little bit smaller. So so this is like what, 3 7/8 by 5 5 5/8, something like that. But I'm going to be punching around the edge of that, so I wanted to make it a little bit bigger than I think I'm going to need at the end. And I've got some pieces of Whisper, sorry, it's not Whisper White, it's very vanilla, and I've got a couple of pieces that are sort of kind of that size, you know, reasonable size scrap, and a piece that is again about the same size as the front of my finished card. Stamps I'm going to be using are Postscript, and I'm going to use one of the greetings from the Guy Greetings set. I've got Dapper Denim and Cherry Cobbler stamping inks, and I've got the Ticket Tear punch. I'm going to start by doing the punching on my Dapper Denim piece, because this is going to be the mat that I build all my layers up on. So I've got my Ticket Tear punch, I've got my piece of Dapper Denim, and I'm going to start by turning the punch over and lining up where I want one of my long edges to finish. Okay, and while I've got the punch this way up, I'll do the same on the opposite side. I'm just going to line it up where I want it to finish. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to pick on one of my sides and I'm going to line up the bit that I've just punched with this silver pattern piece here. Can you see that? Okay, so if I bring in my card and I put it like that, that's not a good match. Okay, I can still see little bits of the grey plastic underneath there. I'm hoping you can see it, but if I move it slightly so that my pattern lines up and that my edge this side stays straight, I should theoretically be able to punch and have a perfect match. Okay, so I'm going to carry on working my way along this side and along that side. So now I've done both the long sides. I'm going to repeat the process for the short sides. So same thing again, I'm going to bring my punch in to where I want it to finish, which is about there, and punch. There we are, that is my mat all done. Now I'm going to stamp my background. I've got my Postscript stamp flat on my silicone mat on my table. Now you can get an acrylic block that is big enough to take one of these very large background stamps, but I find that it's too big and heavy for my hand. I find it easier just to do it with the stamp face up and to put the card onto it. So here's my very vanilla card, and I've trimmed it so that it fits inside of my matting piece. I've got Dapper Denim ink, and I'm going to ink up my big background stamp. Okay, just like that. Okay, I think I've got enough ink on there. I'm going to take my piece of card and I'm going to drop it down onto my stamp the way I think I want it to do. Got a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to go over the back, just like that. Alright, now the scrap paper isn't strictly necessary, but it does prevent you getting too much ink all over the back of your hand, and also you can kind of see when the ink has transferred as well, which is good. Right. Moment of truth, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same with another piece, but I'm going to clean off my stamp. Just got a baby wipe here, and I'm going to do the same but with cherry cobbler ink. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll come back when I'm finished. I've mounted my background piece onto my punched mat, and I've fussy cut out some of the elements from the pieces that I stamped in the cherry cobbler. And I've got to do one more piece of stamping before I can start putting it all together. And I've got my happy birthday from Guy Greetings mounted up on my clear block, and I've got a piece of, not very straight actually, very vanilla, but we'll make it work. Okay, so I'm going to ink up my stamp, and which way do I want my message running? I think around about there looks good. I'm going to press down and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got my silicone mat underneath because this is a photopolymer stamp, and happy with that. So now I'm going to bring in my snips. Let me see how I want that to be. Actually, I could centre that, couldn't I? Do you think? Maybe not. Let's cut that there, and I'm going to take my snips and cut up, what's that, about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and I'm just going to banner up my ends like that, and just that, because that is how I want that to look. Alright, now it's time to put it all together. So I'm going to put this onto my card front before I start building up, because it will be easier to do it now rather than afterwards. Now I'm using fast fuse for this. Snail would do, but if you're watching this on the day I post it, we being Stampin' Up, an offer on at the moment, only until 10th of October 2017, whereby if you buy a fast fuse you get 2 refills free. So it's not even buy one get one free, it's like buy one get 2 free. Okay, so yeah, at the moment Snail is more expensive than fast fuse, so I'm using the fast fuse. I've decided that I want to make this stand out a little bit from the background. As it is, it kind of blends into the background, so I've got a sponge and I've just put it into my Dapper Denim, and yeah, okay, it's not the world's tidiest, but it does the job, and this is rather an antique grungy looking card anyway, so I'm quite happy with it. So I'm just going to take the backing off the dimensionals, and these are the mini dimensionals that I've used here, although actually this piece is a bit big enough that I could have used the full size ones. Okay, so let's decide where do I want it, and I think around about there is looking good to me. And now I've got all of these other elements, which I am just going to scatter here and there. Now I'm not going to try and line them up with the corresponding element underneath. I'm just going to put them where I want a little bit of emphasis, I think. And there it is. There is my finished card. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if so, then don't forget to click that like button, or even subscribe to my channel, why don't you? Because I will be back again soon. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, and happy World Card Making Day.